Welcome back to the room. This is now the. What the fuck is that?
I'm not here to snitch on nobody.
Oh.
That sounds like my phone.
Is that your phone? Can you hear it in the?
Fuck. Let me go turn it.
Go ahead, take it out. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's right.
You know it's an iPhone. I'm not.
That sounds like a grandma's phone. Change your ringer. You don't have to. You don't have to appear old too. Yeah. I feel like dads like just start doing things to make them appear old.
And reminisce.
Yeah. Like you guys want to be known as old guys now. You start letting your balls hang and everything. Like there's no need for that. There's no need for a ringer like that.
I love that ringer.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm old.
That's all right. Well, anyway, welcome back.
Thank you.
This room,
Thank you.
new and improved since last time you were here. How do you feel?
Yes. I love it.
Table.
I love the table.
Now, what's the best thing about the differences between this room and that room? Maybe the camera angles.
The camera angles are good.
What was the problem with the old camera angles?
Yeah. You want me to say?
Yeah.
All right. Everybody's balls were hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just didn't look good.
Yeah, it was an issue. And my dad would wear loose pants once in a
Yeah.
while,
And he get judgy balls.
almost on purpose.
Yeah.
Sometimes he does it on purpose.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah, he likes that. He likes getting a nice. He likes getting a nice laugh out of it.
No. Yeah. Well, and people were noticing.
No, they were for sure commenting.
I'm sure the comments were, hey, can you put your balls away?
Dude, great podcast, but what's going on with the dude's nuts over here? Anyway, you brought me some gifts, which I really
did.
appreciate. I want to see what you got.
All right, so here's what we got. For the room, we have a
Very nice.
little state police thing there.
Segues into what we're talking about today, which is
Yes.
great. So we'll get into that. I love this.
And this is the 110th State Police Class T-shirt.
Wow. You giving this to me?
Yes, it's 37 years old. Never been worn.
Stop.
Yeah. So it's brand new.
That is
37 years old. Yeah.
Very nice.
1988. February 1988 right there. 110th State Police Class.
Very nice.
We should highlight. The only piece of memorabilia that made it has been Uncle Steve.
The only piece of memorabilia that has made it. Can you see that on the camera or no?
Yes. And that being said,
There it is. That's what we're
the
looking for. Right
unofficial sponsor of the
there. Of the John Rondi show now.
John Rondi show,
My dad hates that.
Miller High Life.
God bless.
Champagne and beers.
And we don't normally drink, but here, cheers.
Oh, we're not really. Well, it's not a commercial, so
It's okay. They'll acknowledge it one day. And I actually got you something. So today we're going to be talking about Uncle Steve's lofty career as a state trooper. But when I got my license at 17 years old, you gave me two things. You gave me a gold card.
yes,
But then you also gave me the promise back to you
yes.
that if I ever have to use this gold card, instead of so a gold card, if you guys are not from New Jersey, it's not a get out of jail free card, but you give it to another police officer as like acknowledgement of or are a family member of a trooper or a police officer. And if it's something like maybe you're going 10 over the speed limit, they'll let you go. And so I had one of these cards, and Uncle Steve would say to me, "You can use it, but every time you use it, you owe me a bottle of scotch."
This is true.
And I think it might have been like the first 2 weeks of having my license and having the gold card that he got a phone call. And I said, "I think I owe you a bottle of scotch." So I haven't had to give you one. I haven't had to give you one in a while,
Okay.
but I did use the gold card the other day. And so this is
Okay.
for you. We don't have to drink
Payment.
this now. Maybe we can.
Love it.
If you want to open it up, we can.
No. We'll open it up.
All right. We will.
Want to open it up now?
Maybe we finish these. We'll
Finish
get
these, and we'll open those up. That'll loosen up the conversation a little.
we'll get a little crazy. What you got something here too? What's that?
So I just brought with me a scrapbook. This started out as a scrapbook for when I was at Nekong Station. I can't even tell you like how many that is, but it has a lot of and it evolved into a scrapbook of when I was in Irvington.
Good.
When I was first starting my career in the state police, and when I was on the Turnpike. There's actually a picture in here of Jay Fairlamb.
No way.
Yeah. Yep.
Scott Fairlamb's father. We had him on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yep. I'll find it.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Well, again, as you're going through this,
Yeah.
I want to get into when you were stationed in Irvington, why you guys were brought into Irvington, what was going on at the time.
Okay.
But we got to start with your origin story.
Yeah, I think I was gonna like kind of go just bullet point, go chronological, just
We have to.
little tiny highlights.
For those that don't know.
and for those that don't,
I've
know,
heard stories for now the last 15 years. It's not fair for me to have the bias to say, let's jump right to Irvington.
that's true.
There's a lot of stories, but I think one of the best ones is how you got in and, one of the first days, what happened to you. And
Well, even prior to that, if I could tell how it actually started, so I was probably 19 years old, and I was going to county college, quit, didn't want to go to county college anymore, and I was doing everything from exterminating to, just horrible jobs. And I was going nowhere, and I had a really shitty attitude. And my father, who was probably one of the most patient guys in the world, just had enough with me. He told me he worked down at a Cadillac dealership down in South Orange. And my dad, just, to preface the story and make people understand. So my dad used to do side jobs at home from when I was a little kid till I was probably just getting out of high school.
Sure.
So in my garage, there was Miller High Life beer in a little green refrigerator that me and your dad used to have. There was hot peppers. There was homemade wine. And my father would do these side jobs. Now, in my garage would be gangsters, TV repairmen, plumbers, judges, chiefs of police, sometimes all at the same time. My father would network them all together. I would watch him masterfully do this while he was fixing cars. Fast forward, he says, come down to the car dealership. I want to talk to you. I want you to meet somebody. So he introduces me to a guy, probably about 6 foot tall, probably about 220, giant guy, just thick.
Good stats.
And guy puts his arm around me, walks me down the shop floor, and he offers me a job. He says, your dad tells me you're a tough kid. He says that you really don't, have anything else to do, so I'm going to offer you a career. I'm like, okay. He offers me $500 a week. All I got to do is go collect money.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. This is how it started. So $500 a week in 1986 was a lot of money.
So you were 20.
No, I was 19.
19 at this time.
I was
Okay.
19.
Oh, right.
19, probably turning 20. And, puts his big mitt around me, all kinds of rings on, just like I look now, but I'm not a gangster. And he says, he goes, there are risks. The guy said, he goes, if you get caught or somebody tells, he goes, you don't say anything, you don't know anything, and you don't. I go, no. I go, I understand. And I look, it's not like I was around it a lot, but I was around it enough to know what it was. And he said, I love your dad. And, I just thought I'd present this opportunity to you.
Did your dad know he was offering this job to you?
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay.
So, second part of the story, the guy leaves, hugs and kisses my dad, leaves. I go to my father. I go, what was that? And my father literally looked at me and he goes, I'm just done with you. He turns his back on me. Now, he turned his back on me, and he literally was turning his back on. He just had it with me. And I was like, I grabbed his shoulder, and he flipped around. He goes, hey. He goes, get your hands off me. My father had giant working man cement hands. And he goes, get your hands off me. And he goes, go think about what you just heard, and, maybe that could be your new career. That night, I go home. My buddy Frank, who became a trooper at 18, he stops by my house. He was able to take a car home, so he stops by my house in uniform. Comes to see me, comes to say hi to my parents. My father's, I can remember this to this day. My father's at the top of the steps. My father got all teary-eyed looking at Frank. Oh my God, your parents, they're probably so proud. Oh my God, Frank, what a great career, you know, the whole thing. And I'm sitting there, and it just hit me like a lightning bolt that this guy that has done everything for me, that suffered, sacrificed, provided, took care of me, he doesn't want me. I was literally at a crossroads, and I tell a lot of people this, and I'm like, I was there. I could have went this way, could have went this way. I saw my father's reaction to Frank, and that was it. I knew what I had to do. I knew it was going to be really, really hard because I was not that disciplined of a kid. And that's how it started.
I never knew that.
That's how it literally started. And I used to tell people, I was at a crossroads, and people go, oh, yeah, we were all there. I go, no, I was really there.
Yeah.
You know, and
like, who knows what that other decision would have led to?
that other decision would have led to easy jail or death.
Yeah.
Jail or death. I would have lost all my friends. I would have had a horrible life. You know, and some people are able to manage that type of career.
Sure.
They do. You know, some people you hear about them, and they make it through that life and somehow come out on the other end and they're okay. But the percentage isn't good.
It's not good, and it normally comes with or by, like ratting on something. Like, it doesn't end.
Yeah.
It never ends well, I would assume.
Yeah, and that wouldn't have been me either, because the one characteristic that I have, I'm loyal like a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
And so I would have been that guy that probably would have sat in jail for 10 years for just not talking, and jail for 10 years. 10 years of your life gone. And it just wasn't for me. I didn't have honestly, I don't think I had the stomach for it either. I don't think I could just, like some guy that has a gambling problem, and he's into somebody for money, or somebody that borrowed money for a business. Now I got to go and
handle him for whatever reason. You don't even know this guy.
You got to do. And then sometimes he's like, and these aren't stories, because, I knew people that it's like, go smash his hand with a hammer.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do it, to be honest.
And then you're in it.
You didn't do anything to me. Like, if you did something to me, I do think I could smash your hand with a hammer. But if it was like something like third party type stuff,
and you gotta say, sorry, I gotta do this.
I don't know if I'm that loyal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
Well, you made the right choice. Needless to say.
Oh my God. Talk about like the right choice, and we'll get into the whole thing. But yeah.
What an origin story. Again, I never knew that one. So 19 years old, you make the right choice. Yeah. How long until you go and enlist or whatever you're...
Again, like the state police, back then, back then, they were averaging probably about 10,000 people would take the test to become a trooper. And 1%, less than 1% would make it.
No shit. Oh, yeah. So is it a big difference between now and then?
The numbers have dropped down a little.
Yeah.
But it still is, and there's a lot of old timers that'll say, oh, these kids now.
Yeah.
I don't do all that shit, because you know what? It's just as hard for a kid now as it was for me.
Yeah.
But it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. It's just like a kid going to Catholic school now isn't getting tortured and beat up by nuns like I did. So, there's certain parameters that, and some of them make sense. Like some of the things that were done to us in the academy were sadistic.
Yeah.
Just like beyond. But I know the story that you want me to tell, my first day.
I mean, of course. Where else would we start?
My
other than the first day.
So, think about it. I was 19. I got into the academy. It was October of 87. So I was 21 and a half. Okay? 21 and a couple of months. Yeah, 21 and 3 months. So I got into the academy, and there I was. Had my head shaved. I go down to Fort Dix, and, you know, I had all my stuff downstairs in the basement, ready to go. My bags, all my bags that I needed, my sneakers, and load up my car, and I go. And I get down to the academy, and the first day I was there, the first moment I was there and I got out of the car, I was like, maybe I should get back in my car and go home. Maybe this isn't for me.
I have to assume everybody feels like that.
I know everybody felt like it because these guys, it was October. It was like Indian summer. It was like 85, 90 degrees. These guys. So the guy in the middle, he was in SFC. I'm not going to mention any names.
That's fine.
Yeah. He was sergeant first class, and there was 2 troopers next to him. He was about 6'1". They were about 6'4", and they had their long overcoats on. They looked like Nazis.
Yeah.
They're going down the line, screaming at people. Screaming. And gets to me. I'm standing in front of my 1986 black Z28 with a double-breasted silver sharkskin suit on, a burgundy and silver tie. They walked up, and he leaned over and he looked at me, and he goes, "What the fuck are you?" He goes, "Get back in that fucking car and go back to Essex County. Get the fuck out of my academy."
Amazing.
And then the other guys are just screaming, and I am like, oh my God, maybe I should get back in my car and go back up to Essex County. I got a job waiting for me.
Yeah. That life doesn't look too bad.
So that all happens, all that harassment. And we finally go back to change, right? So we go back to change, and we got to come down as a class, and we're going to meet our class coordinator. So all the other drill instructors are in the room. Class coordinator's there. My class coordinator was a former Marine. He was probably about 6'1". Maybe about 190. He was a slender guy. He had dark-haired Irish guy, but he had these crystal blue snake eyes that would stare right through you. And he's up there, and he's giving us the whole lowdown of how our class is going to be, how we're going to be the best class in the state police, which, you know, by the end, you believe you're the best class in the state police. Sure. So I'm sitting there listening to him talk, and then I almost go, like, I can't hear anything anymore because all I'm dialed in on, I see these sneakers on the podium. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I got overwhelmed with happiness because I'm like, I have the right sneakers. I have the sneakers that they want. The rest of these idiots in here, I'll bet you they don't have the sneakers. They were gray New Balance, by the way. I'll never forget it.
Very nice.
So he's going through his thing, and he goes, and I remember my buddy telling me, don't let them know your name. Don't let them know your name, because if they know your name, you're done. You're not going to make it. Well, this is about hour 3 into this, and I hear, is there a recruit DeBenedictis here? And Johnny, I'm not even kidding. I look to my left, look to my right, going, there must be another DeBenedictis because it's not me. And he says, again, is there a recruit DeBenedictis here? And I'm like, holy shit, it's me. This is hour number 3. I go, this is bad. I raise my hand. He goes, verbatim, DeBenedictis, you left your sneakies at home and your mommy brought them down for you.
No.
He throws the sneakers down the aisle. He goes, you will carry those sneakers everywhere you go, everything you do, until I tell you otherwise. I grabbed my sneakers, and I was like, holy shit, this is bad.
Yeah.
So now, you have to imagine now, that day, so now we go to eat, right? We go down to the chow hall, which we had a march. I had to carry my sneakers with me. I'm trying to hide my sneakers behind my leg. There's a guy, has to be about 6'5", about 265, giant, just screaming at everybody, just screaming. And all of a sudden, it was almost like he came out of his skin. He saw my sneakers. And he goes, what the fuck? You with the sneakers, post on me. So I had to run up to this guy. I'm standing there. And he told me, he goes, if anybody asks you about the sneakers, you will tell them exactly what I just said. So I had to look up at this guy and go, I left my sneakies home and my mommy brought them down for me. He said, what the fuck? Get to the back of the line. Go to the back of the line. Went inside. And the instructors down there, they had this, I don't know if they practiced this. As soon as we put our food down on the table, now I'm sitting there eating one-handed because I got my sneakers, right? They would come by. They were able to miss the table, but hit your tray. And your tray, you would actually see it in like slow motion, all the food and shit flying off it. And you're like, wow, I'm starving.
And there it goes.
There it goes. Pick it the fuck up and get the fuck out. If you dare picked up food off the floor and ate it, you were, I think they would have killed you.
Yeah.
I swear. I know we were that afraid.
Yeah.
Do not pick a fucking piece of food off the floor, you fucking dog bastards. I mean, so scooping it up, throwing it away, going back, and you're like, holy shit. But this was breakfast, lunch. They might have missed you for lunch, and you'd be able to eat, but you had probably two minutes, maybe 3 minutes to eat, and they were like, get the fuck out.
What were they giving you?
Oh, it was disgusting. Army food.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was army food. The poor military guys, what they had to eat was not good. Yeah, it was army food. It was in the army cafeteria, and it was just so. That's how that all started. And you know, throughout my academy time, as an older guy now, I'm able to reflect and realize that a lot of my problems, tragedies, were self-inflicted.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You're saying that the problems you had in academy were your fault.
Oh, some of them 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I always had this, like, even when I was in school, I always wanted to be, like, break the mood, just break the thickness, say something funny, do something funny. So in the academy, when we would all line up, so in the mornings, we would have to be on the fire line, they called it. So we would have to be in formation, and the instructor would break the door. He'd come walking out. So when I would see the instructor hit the door and start walking down, I would fart. Now, farts are always funny, but when nothing's funny and you're stressed out, it's really funny.
Right.
So now everybody around me's laughing. So I would also, like, I would just say something funny, and then people be laughing. They're like, shut the fuck up. What are you doing that for? And I'm like, don't worry about it. Just relax. I just, because it's so much. It was so much stress and tension. You're studying and stuff until 9, 10 o'clock at night, and you're up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God.
And you're showering like a bunch of animals all together. Then you got guys that, they go to take a shit and the doors are open. They're just sitting there. It's like, it's disgusting. And the whole thing was just disgusting.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then they would just torture you. We had, so you'd go on runs where we ran. So to get to the track that we ran on, you had to run a mile on like this grass and everything. There was holes.
Oh.
There were, I don't know if they put them there on purpose, but when you saw a hole, you had to raise your hand to let everybody know to go around the hole. But if you went into the hole, you twisted your ankle, now you're gone.
Yeah.
You get hurt, you're gone.
Really?
Yeah, you get injured, you're gone.
And they won't let you back in.
We started, so let's put it this way. We started with 180 something, and we graduated. We were the first 88 in 88.
Wow, we lost 100 people.
Yeah.
And how many dropped out on their own?
Oh, well, there was like the first day. First day, people were like, yeah, fuck this. This isn't for me.
Yeah.
And then we had people that snuck out in the middle of the night, hopped the fence, crashed the gate.
Why? Just leave.
Just to get out.
Why can't you just leave at that point?
I don't even know. I don't know. I just know that it was torturous.
So how long is the academy?
It's every bit of 6 months.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So you graduate. So you go through this whole. Is there like a hell week? Do you guys have some sort of?
So what they do is the premise behind it is they break you down as far as they could break you down to the point where you're quitting, sleep deprivation, food deprivation. Like I went in. I was probably, I'm trying to think. I was maybe like 190 when I went in the academy. I graduated 170.
Holy shit.
The first week I lost 12 pounds because I didn't eat.
Yeah.
Didn't eat, and we're running, and you're doing push-ups. Just for fun, they would put you in front-leaning rest. You're in front-leaning rest.
Yeah.
And me, sneaker guy, my first, probably it only lasted with the sneakers, was probably like 3 days. By Wednesday, they dialed in on somebody else.
Good. Yeah.
But they still knew my name. And when they know your name, it just sucks. And you know what? Let me just call it like it is. The state police in 1988, they didn't want a little Italian guy from Essex County.
They want big Germans.
They wanted big German Irish guys that are 6 foot tall and look good in uniform and fit their mold.
Right.
So that was another challenging thing. But we had instructors. There were instructors that were from the north. There was an instructor that was shorter than me. He was this badass Filipino guy, was like a black belt in 3 different martial arts.
Yeah.
And nobody fucked with him. And he was kind of like, so he kind of like had, you didn't slide when you were little, but he was there to kind of, I don't even know how to put it, because he was hard on you too. But
Different type of
hard. Yeah. And if he saw that somebody was breaking unnecessarily, he would kind of say something, and it was sometimes all you needed to hear was like a word. Just to keep moving. But I mean, we had this thing they called the cooker. So the cooker was sand, all sand. It was low crawl. It was monkey bars. And it was like all this other shit that you had to just keep going through. And the crawling in the sand and the sweat and just the sand getting all over you was a nightmare. And then we used to go down to the military had a you know, they had the whole thing with the cargo net, the obstacle course.
Yeah.
And it was the military obstacle course. But, like, you know, when we were going down there, we were in great shape and we were killing it. But that's where you saw guys that were afraid of heights.
Yeah.
Because now you got to climb like a 50-foot cargo net. You know, it's moving around. Heights never bothered me, so it wasn't a big deal. So, like, that was no problem. You know, and then they just wanted to test you. Like, are you going to go to the top and just think of yourself? Or are you going to go, you know, if you're not afraid of heights, are you going to go to the top and kind of help other guys over?
Right.
But now you're not going to come in first.
Mm.
So I didn't give a shit about coming in first.
No.
I would help out my guys. You know, and then you got to, you know, climb a rope. When I was 21 years old, I had great upper body strength.
Yeah.
Climb a rope, okay. Climb cargo net, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a big deal. The distance running was my little, it was my, that was my, but we got up to, so by the end, we were doing a little over 5 miles in probably 40 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you became like, and it was funny because like even on the weekends when I would go home towards the end of the academy, I would just go on a run.
Yeah.
I would go run like 6 miles. It wouldn't be a big deal at all. And yeah, it just, you know, it really prepares you because, you know, when you become a trooper, you're by yourself. You have to make decisions but the academy was definitely one of the hardest things that I ever went through in my life.
I'm sure the sense of accomplishment after it though felt pretty good.
It was unbelievable.
Like that day
you
of
felt like
graduation.
you felt like you had an S on your chest.
Yeah.
You know, and the biggest accomplishment was standing there with my father and my grandfather. My grandfather came to that thing. Now my grandfather, you know, to him, me becoming a trooper was like, you know, that was like unbelievable. He had his hat on, his suit, his overcoat. My grandmothers were both all dressed up, you know. So it was an accomplishment beyond the accomplishment for me, just to see how, because after that, you thought my father was a trooper. He had more state police garb on all the time.
Yeah, so he was just proud of you.
And
That's awesome.
so that was one of the best accomplishments in my life. One of, you know.
For you. So you graduate. How long until you're like seeing the road? Like, where do you see? Do they put you on the highways immediately?
You graduate on a Friday. You report to your station on Monday.
And are you on like a ride along or like what? How does that work?
So you have a training officer.
Okay.
So you have a training officer for around 3 months.
Got it. Who was yours? You can't say names.
I had a guy that he was a Marine Corps drill instructor. He had about 4 years on the state police. And this guy had like he almost was too good to be a training officer because I'm not even kidding you. He would sit there. Are we getting into that point now? First station?
Yeah.
Okay. So first station, I'm in Hope, which is all the way out west. It's exit 12 on 80. So now the funny thing behind that, just to go back, so I go home that weekend. I tell my father, I go, Dad, I'm going to some place called Hope. And he opens up the map. You know, it was maps back then.
Right.
And he starts doing this with his fingers, you know, because that's how you did it. And he looks at me and he goes, wow, that's far.
Yeah.
He goes, let's take a ride. So we start driving, go up 280, get on 80, start going west. As we're going over the Parsippany Hill into Rockaway, my father is like squirming around this seat. And he's like looking at me, he's looking around. I go, what's the matter? He goes, Steve, nobody in our family has ever been west of Parsippany.
That's crazy.
So now we're driving, and it's farmlands.
Yeah.
It's woods. He's like, you better be careful out here. He goes, there's probably stuff that can eat you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, Dad, I go, you're not making this better. He goes, I'm just telling you. He goes, whoa. He goes, I thought you'd be going to like the Parkway back home. What is this?
You would think you're in Pennsylvania.
You're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I show up my first day. Again, my Z28. I only had one suit, so there I am, my double-breasted suit, little looser on me, and I show up there, and I pull up into the parking lot with my Z28. It's pickup trucks. It's pickup trucks, and I see guys in flannel shirts and boots.
Why did they station you so far? How does that work?
That's what they do. They put you far away from your house. So the whole thought behind it is, you know, they're trying to cultivate a well-rounded trooper.
Yeah.
So when you work out there, it's general police work, they call it, and you're literally you're the police for these rural towns, these farm towns, and you know, you're out there and it's farmers, and you know, it was, I mean, it's beautiful country. Like when I go back there now, I'm like, wow, this was really nice. I didn't see it back then.
Oh yeah, no shit.
Because I was like stressed out of my mind, but you know, like, so you would go out with your training officer, but then there's other times when you'd go out with other guys. So just a quick story. One night I go out, I probably have on, I don't know, 3 weeks, maybe a month. So I'm with this guy, red-haired guy, big German guy, right? He's looking at me. He goes, you know, a few years ago, you wouldn't have been able to get in the state police. I go, okay, sir. He goes, yeah, there was a 6-foot height limit.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, wow, we're going there, huh? So I'm just like, okay, sir. And he goes, so we're driving down this dark road. We turn down this other dark road. And he goes, hey, look at the street sign. You could look this up. Fact check me. Shades of Death Road. Yeah. He pulls down this road called Shades of Death Road.
Shades of Death Road.
Shades of Death Road. Okay. So he stops in front of this little pond with a big oak tree. Right? He goes, they used to hang witches here and just drop them into the pond. He goes, apparently full moon like there is tonight, you could see the witches. Stop. He goes, yeah. So he goes like this to me. He goes, why don't you get out of the car and see? I looked at him. I go, sir, there's no chance I'm getting out of this car. I was like, there's no way I'm getting out of the car. And he starts laughing. He goes, you know how many recruits we left here? I go, oh yeah, I can imagine. You're not leaving this one here.
Oh, that's
I go, I'm not getting out of the car. Yeah, they tell you to get out of the car. They go, hey, I think there's something wrong with the tire. Can you get it? And they drive away.
What time is it at this point?
Dude, it's like 12 midnight.
No. Yeah, I'm staying in that car too.
It's pitch black. There's no lights. Shades of Death Road. Witches. Come on, get out of here.
How does it feel? You feel the energy in the air?
I was scared to be up there.
Anyway. Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah.
Went through the whole training thing. The guy that was my training officer, this guy, like I said, we would be just sitting there in a cut, and he would always have like these things that he would say to me. Like if it was day shift and I was sitting there and you know you got the sun beating on you, I'm in the car and I'm like this. I remember one day he looks over at me and he goes, hey, young Steve, he goes, if you're going to hoot with the owl, you better be able to soar with the eagle. Johnny, I was like this the whole fucking day. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I go home. I go, hey, Dad, I got one for you. If you're going to hoot with the owl, you better be able to soar with the eagle. He goes, that's easy, Steve. If you're going to stay out all night, you better be able to work in the morning. I was like, wow, that's what that means. Okay. But this guy would see cars go by. He would be like, yep, there's the one. 60 miles an hour, right lane. I'm like, oh my God, what's this? He'd pull the car over. 357 Magnum, kilo of cocaine.
I'm like,
Bro, I'm telling you, he was like, it was almost like he had this weird sixth sense, or he was able to just look. The best one he did was this. Little old black couple, dressed like it was a Sunday, dressed like they just came from church. We're sitting there, he goes, there it is. You wouldn't know the car. They were in an Aries K car. Probably the most unassuming car there could be.
Right.
Pulls him over. He goes, I went up to the passenger side. My hat pulled down to here. Couldn't see my eyes. You know, and he had this thing. Like, he would walk up to every car with his hand in his pocket. And he would kind of just say, you know, hey, how are you? New Jersey State Police. All friendly and happy all the time. Hey, do you mind stepping out of the car? I just want, you know, he just had this way about him, you know? And I'm sitting, and the little old lady's sitting in the car, and I'm like talking to her. I go, oh, man. You know, she's like, oh, you know, we came from church. And I'm like, oh, you know, how was church? What did they talk about, you know? Yeah. Next thing I know, he's going like this. Cuff her. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta cuff the little lady. I go, what? He found 150 decks of heroin in the little old man's hat. I'm not even kidding. So there were guys, when I got on the state police, he wasn't like the only one. There was like a handful, maybe a little more, that just had this thing. They would be able to like see a car, spot something, just know there was drugs. It was like, whoa.
They're like canines.
Bro, they're like canines.
That's so wild.
It's nuts.
Do you adopt that sense? Like, did you start feeling it when you got it?
Well, what was funny was it took me a while to like even like remotely understand like how these guys thought, and I had to work, and I was fortunate. I worked with like I worked with just great guys. They were like, some guys were so street smart, and some guys were just intelligent.
Yeah.
Like, eventually it's going to rub off on you.
You would hope, right? At that
Yeah.
point, so how long you at Hope for?
I was at Hope for 6 months.
Okay.
But then they sent me to Washington, which was...
How south?
No. Washington was right next door. Washington, New Jersey is... I guess it would be the eastern part of Warren County. Okay. So it was just still Warren County.
You're still around there. Yeah.
So I'm still like up in the woods. And you know, I mean, I was getting calls. So once I was by myself, like they would call me and they would say, one of the funny ones was they called me for a snake in the road. Johnny, I pulled down. There's a giant, had to be like a 10-foot snake, probably about this thick.
Hell no.
It was like a whatchamacallit snake. What do they call it?
Anaconda.
Like a rat snake or something?
I don't know.
So the snake's in the road. So I'm from Essex County.
You never see a snake.
I'm not getting out with my stick and letting the snake wrap. I'm not the crocodile hunter, right? So what do?
You shot it?
No. I ran it over.
No, you did. That's even better.
Backed over it, ran it over, backed over it, ran it over. The snake was in like 4 pieces.
No way.
I drove away. So they call me and they go, stop into the station. I come back in the station and they're like, did you get a snake call? I go, yeah. What did you do? I go, I ran it over probably about 8 times. They go, why would you do that? The farmer's out of his mind. I go, the farmer wanted the snake? He goes, hey, idiot, who do you think keeps the rats and the mice out of the barns and stuff? It's a snake. Then they're like, you fucking city kids. Yeah. I'm like, I'm a city kid? I'm from Verona. I'm a fucking hillbilly.
Right.
Right? But it was you city kids. You know, and it was just like, you know, there was stuff like that. I saw my first... I probably had like 2 months on. We go to a structure fire. This was my first dead body. All right. So we go to a structure fire, and I'm standing there, got my hat pulled down to here, can't see my eyes. I can't even see. I got my head up like this, But the way the state police hat is designed, it's designed that way.
Right.
It's designed that way so you keep your head up. So your head's up all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Everything that the state police wears was meticulously designed.
Has like a purpose.
Yeah. And so I'm there, and this young kid, probably in his 20s, comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, did my mom get out of the house?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think everybody got out." I'm like, so I go up to my training officer, and I go, "Hey, somebody just came up to me and said, asked if their mom got out." And so we didn't realize one of the guys that was in the fire department was the lady's brother-in-law. He goes in the house. All of a sudden, he comes running out of the house, throwing up and like all distraught.
Yeah.
What happened was she had a gas heater. The gas heater caught on fire, and she couldn't get out.
Oh.
And she burnt to death. So my training officer, he comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, why are you outside?" I go, "Oh, I'm just making sure everything's okay out here." This is after it's all cleared up. He goes, "You ever see a dead body?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Where?" I go, "I've been to a funeral." He goes, "No." He goes, "Come inside." I'm like, really? I gotta burn this into my brain already.
Yeah.
Go in, and and I say this a lot, it's very strange what your mind does. It looked fake,
Yeah.
but you knew it was real. And the thing that you can't get out of your head ever, to this day, I can't get it out of my head, was the smell. The smell of a burnt body is something that never, like, you just smell something sometimes, and you're like, whew, and they all of them just, it's like your brain has a Rolodex of things that you don't want to see.
Yeah.
And you just, it was, yeah, so that was bad. And then
This is still in Hope.
this is still in Hope. When I went to Washington, now my sergeant in Hope and my lieutenant in Hope, the station commander, they were great guys. Mm-hmm. Just let me go back to Hope. One more thing. This is a pretty funny story. So I was just struggling because I was up there with all these hayseeds. Now my lieutenant, my station commander, great man. He was from Passaic County. He didn't like being up there either.
So he was with you.
He calls me into his office one day. He goes, "Hey, kid." He goes, "Sit down." I'm like, he goes, "Hey, kid." So I was like so nervous. This is our station commander. Like, you didn't talk to the station commander. I'm thinking, like, what did I do? Is he going to fire me? What's going on? He goes, "Kid, sit down, relax." He goes in his drawer, pulls out a bottle of whiskey. He goes, "You want a drink, kid?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." But, I'm like, "Nah, that's okay, sir." Puts it away. He goes, "Hey, kid," he goes, "listen." He goes, "Eventually, you're going to go home. You'll go down to Totowa. You'll work in Bloomfield. You'll be in Newark. You'll be home." He goes, "For the time being, you got to deal with these hayseeds up here." He even called them hayseeds.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'll tell you what." He goes, "You know where JJ's Hot Dogs is?" I go, "Yes, sir." I go, "Bloomfield Avenue in Newark."
Yeah.
He goes, "I love JJ's Hot Dogs." He goes, "Tomorrow, you're going to go pick us up JJ's Hot Dogs. We're going to have lunch in my office." I go, "Okay, sir." He goes, "Don't worry. I'll let your squad know what you're doing. Leave here at 11 o'clock. He goes, "Don't let my hot dogs get cold. And don't let my drink get warm." I said, "Okay, sir." Went to work. At 10:30, my coach drives me back. He goes, "Go do what you got to do." I get in a car. Now, I wasn't in a car by myself yet.
Oh.
I'm driving as fast as the car could possibly
lights
drive.
on?
No, I didn't have lights on. Coming back, I think I did put the lights on though. I go down JJ's Hot Dogs. I get us hot dogs. I get us 2 chocolate cows. Now, I brought like some ice with me.
Smart.
Now,
What's a chocolate cow? Chocolate milk?
it's like almost like chocolate soda. It's freaking delicious.
Never had one.
The best thing with a hot dog.
A chocolate cow?
Chocolate cow was called. Yeah.
Never had one.
So got our hot dogs. I got the heater blasting. I got the hot dogs down there. Now I'm sweating. I'm like, I got the windows down. I'm flying. Like I said, I hit a little bit of traffic. I'm lights. I'm on the shoulder. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to crash the car. Bringing hot dogs back for my lieutenant. Got back there. He goes, nice job, kid.
Yeah.
So we sat there. I had lunch with him. He goes, listen. He goes, I like you. He goes, you're going to go to Totowa. He goes, go to your next station. He goes, 6 months, you're going to be in Totowa, and you're going to be surprised who your station commander is. He said, okay, sir. I go, thank you so much. He goes, you're a good kid. He goes, you'll be all right. He goes, I like you. Went to Washington. I had the most miserable sergeant. He was horrible. Like, you know, but 6 months' time, my transfer order comes for Totowa. I go down there.
Back.
Who's my lieutenant? Him.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, oh my God, this is great. I go in, I go, good morning, sir. He goes, we gonna have hot dogs? I go, you let me know. I go, I'm a lot closer. He goes, I know, kid. He goes, I'll let you know. This guy was such a good guy. If you performed well, you would just look on, like, we had like a schedule. We had like a pass list. You would look on your pass list, and there would be a K on a day. If you had a K on that day, it was your day off.
If you just performed well.
You just got a free day off.
Wow.
The guy was awesome.
How long were you in total for? That's like the ideal.
So, I'm in Totowa. All right, this story is fine to tell. So I'm in Totowa.
You're retired. You can tell whatever you want.
Yeah,
Leave names out.
You know, I can and I can't. So I'm in Totowa, and I'm in Totowa for about a year and a half, and then, you know, and it was like home, being in Totowa, and I don't know if I could find the picture. But this is like the exact time, and I know it for just. So I was in Totowa for a year and a half, and I worked for this guy who was a full-blown drunk. Full-blown drunk. Used to drive around in an unmarked car with test tubes of vodka chilling in his passenger seat.
Oh.
This guy used to pull up and back us up at like at stops and stuff, and he would get out and he'd be so bombed. Now we're talking to a guy that we think's drunk. The guy's going, I'm drunk. He goes, look at this guy. We're like, holy shit. All right, sir, you know, go ahead, have a good night.
What a different time.
That was actually the academy.
Your calf.
No, over there, the other side.
Wait, which one are you?
I'm the little short guy.
Right there.
Obviously, those were the guys in my room.
Oh, you're not in that. Oh, you are in that
That's
one.
Jay Fairlamb.
Where?
Right
I've always want to put a face to his name because I hear his name from you and from Scott.
That's Jay.
This one.
Yeah.
Looks just like Scott.
Yeah.
Who's this? Is this Clella or no?
No. That's my old partner.
So you with a shaved head?
Yeah.
You look better at 60.
That's the academy. Yeah.
You look better at 60 years old than you did at 19, 20.
Yeah, because I was going through hell.
You could tell you were going through some shit.
But I mean, so I'm at Totowa and everything's going fine until one time, and that it's funny you said Kalela's name because it was his going. He was getting transferred to TACPAC. Oh, that's my grandparents at the graduation.
Oh, that's great.
So he was getting transferred to TACPAC, right? And this is how I'm going to segue into Jay Fairlamb days. So a year and a half at Totowa, we go out to take Tommy out, and we went out to what was it called there in Totowa? The Red Barn, whatever it is, the
just
barn.
closed though. Yeah.
Went there, some drinks, some food, everything's fine. Everybody's ready to go home. And then somebody has the bright idea, let's go to Spanky's. Well, the bright idea of going to Spanky's, I think, is never a good idea, but it always sounds good when, you're feeling good. Go down to Spanky's. In case people don't know what Spanky's is, Spanky's was a gentleman's club.
Correct.
As we called it, a go-go bar.
Right. Not a luxurious high-end go-go bar, right?
No, it was more, I would call it more on the low end of the go-go bar scale. So we go there, and, we're having some drinks, having some fun. And I'll never forget this. I was just like laying back. I wasn't at the bar. I was just laying back, just chilling, just sipping a drink. And it was the end of the night, and it was our last drink. We were getting ready to leave. And the two bouncers there at the time, big giant guy, smaller guy, but ripped, wiry, ripped, pretty tough kid, So they just threw a couple of guys out, comes walking back in. And like I said, I was back against the bar, against the wall near a mirror. He starts shadow boxing right next to me. Then he folds his arms, and he's just staring at me.
This is the bouncer.
The bouncer. So I look over at him, and I go, I didn't know what his deal was. I go, you're not going to throw us out like that, are you? And I kind of smiled at him. He goes, as a matter of fact, you guys are done. It's time to leave. I go, absolutely. I go, we're finishing these, and we're going. He goes, no, you know what? I think you're going to go now. He goes, I don't give a fuck that you're troopers and all this other shit. Because they knew who we were because somebody's wife worked in there. Mm-hmm. A trooper's wife worked in there. So I'm like, here we go. Now, I had an off-duty gun on me. So I take it, I give it to another guy. The other guy takes it, gives it to another guy, right? So
you can't get in the fight with a gun on you.
Right. I just didn't want to. But I was feeling like, okay, I guess I have to fight this guy.
Yeah.
Well, the guy goes from me to another guy. And the other guy was a wrestler. His father was a grandmaster in martial arts, and he was one of the toughest, best fighters I've ever seen in my life. He opts from going from me, where me and him probably would have had a good fight, to he wants to get his ass kicked now. He goes to this guy, starts grabbing at him. Now, this guy doesn't want to fight. He's backing up. He goes, you got a gun on you? He's picking up his shirt going, I don't have a gun on me, man. He goes, hey, look, we're getting ready to leave. Just leave us alone. So he keeps like putting his hands on him. Yeah. Well, his back hit a cigarette machine. He comes off the cigarette machine. I never saw anything like it in my life. He hit him probably about, I don't want to exaggerate, 25 times. Oh. And then took him and threw him on the ground, hit him like 4 more times, and then backed off. And I'm like, all right, bro, calm down. Yeah. The rest of us we're on your side. Right. This kid gets off the ground. I got jumped. Somebody snuck me. The other guy comes running over. I go, whoa. I go, nobody snuck you. I go, that guy, he just hit you 97 times and threw you on the ground. And I go, I don't know if you want any more. So there were a couple black guys that were there. They were East Orange cops. They come walking over. They're like, hey, guys, we hear sirens. You better get out of here.
Yeah.
So we leave. Long story short, go back. As soon as I get back to work, this was like a Thursday or Friday. No, it was probably like a Friday. So I had the weekend off. I get back on Monday. As soon as I walk in, go see the captain. So now this was our troop commander. I'm like, you didn't even know what this guy looked like. He was like Oz.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to see him for? I go up there. I walk into his office, I salute him, and really handsome guy, blue eyes, like grayish hair. Johnny, I've never seen him. I knew who he was, and I'm like, he starts talking to me like almost like a 50s movie. He goes, so, I understand that you were at a gentleman's club named Spanky's, and I'm like, what's this guy talking about?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, yes, sir. I understand there was an altercation. I go, oh my God. I go, yeah, yes, sir. I understand you were the reason of that altercation. I go, okay. I go, I guess. He goes, what does that mean? Was there somebody else? I go, nope, it was all me. He goes, okay, you're getting transferred to the New Jersey Turnpike. Good luck to you. Get out of my office. That's it. I was evaporated.
No more Totowa.
I went downstairs. They had like a teletype that would come up. They said they never saw a transfer this fast. I went downstairs. My orders to go to the Turnpike were coming out of the machine. My drunk sergeant ripped them off, gave them to me, goes, enjoy the Turnpike.
Now, was the Turnpike like that's the place you don't want to be?
So there were two things about the Turnpike. The Turnpike was, they called it the Land of Misfit Toys. So everybody that was getting punished went to the Turnpike.
Okay, so you're with a bunch of degenerates or whatever.
The Turnpike was also known, like you went to the Turnpike, you were called a Black Dragon.
A Black Dragon?
Black Dragon.
Why is that?
Because the nickname for the Turnpike was the Black Dragon. They called it the Black. I don't know why. They said the way it's shaped, it looked like a dragon. Yeah. But so if you went there, you all of a sudden got this title of being, oh, he's a dragon or he's a Black Dragon.
Yeah.
You'd crush your hat, you'd bend your badge, and you would. I mean, it was just known for being very
reckless,
rough.
Yeah.
Just and the road itself was You've been on the Turnpike. It's horrific.
Yeah.
Elevated roadways, trucks, and back then it was the artery for drugs.
Right. That's what
drugs, guns, everything else. So you had guys that were out there that were unbelievable criminal guys that would make arrests. And then you had, like I said, you had the Land of Misfit Toys or somebody that was being punished. You did something, boom, you went to the Turnpike.
Wouldn't you want your best cops or troopers there?
The way it turned out, the guys that I worked with that were supposed to be these misfits,
I guess you get really good.
They were excellent.
Yeah.
Like there were a couple of guys that were, a little fucked up, but 90% of them, you had to me, this was like the cream of the crop. But it must be the cream of the crop that spoke their mind maybe said something they weren't supposed to say. But it was weird how they orchestrated it, and the sergeants that they had out there and the station commander that they had out there, they had guys that nobody was going to fuck with. Jay Fairland being one of them.
Correct.
They had guys that their squads loved them. They would run through fire for them. And our station commander, this guy was a door gunner in Vietnam.
A door gunner.
A door gunner. Your life expectancy is, I think, 3 seconds.
That is insane.
Yeah, he was a
He
door
probably doesn't
gunner.
even know how many confirmed kills he has. How could you?
I'm just sitting there.
That is insane.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was every one of them there. They were all Vietnam vets.
Right, like Fairlane was.
So when I got to the Turnpike, all the sergeants there were Vietnam vets. I think the SFC, I think, was a Vietnam vet. I don't think they had anybody else, and it was that station. It was nuts.
A little crazy.
Oh no, it was nuts. Like my first day going out, my first week, I went out with this guy. He was a Jersey City guy. Takes me out. He's showing me around the Turnpike, and just the way you called things in, you would call things in like, okay, I'm SNW at 109. I'm gonna be out. Blah blah blah. Well, SNW means I'm the south, from the south to the north on the western spur. But then you had NSE would be north to the south. That means you're going south on the eastern spur. But then you would have the Bay Bridge, Bay Extension. You'd have the south. It was, and then there's all this like just Turnpike roadway that has like an L ramp and an E ramp, and oh my God. So like that alone,
There's a lot going on.
A lot going on. And first day going out, first week, probably our third day. It's an afternoon shift. It's dark. I'm sorry. It was just getting dark. It was like dusk. Pull up to these two troopers, and they're leaning over an elevated roadway, like almost like looking over the bridge, but their arms were over the bridge. So as I got closer, I heard screams. They were hanging a guy over the bridge, asking him where the drugs were in his car. Yeah. So, hey, you guys okay? Yeah, we're good. We get back in the car. He's like, you got a problem with what you just saw? I go, I didn't see nothing. He goes, you'll be okay out here.
wait, this isn't your first day.
No, this was my first week there.
Oh my God.
Then my first month, how to be my first month? We worked these power days where you would work with another squad. So we're working with another squad. Now the squad I was working with was a pretty rough and tumble squad. They had just, and every squad had just such a mixed bag of shells, like characters. And I mean, I could go, you don't have enough time for me to like talk about the characters, but we're working, guys in a pursuit, right? Probably, I would say at least once, like our shifts were like 4 days. Every 4 days, there was a pursuit. Within that 4 day period, somebody was chasing a car. Yeah. Maybe even more. Gets in a pursuit, the guys bail out. They got out and they ran. So now the guy that was chasing them was a bigger guy, wasn't a runner. He goes, yeah, I got one. Well, he had this guy in his squad that was, remember when they had like the scabs played in the NFL?
No.
Remember like the guys that like didn't make it into the NFL? So this kid was number one. He was chiseled out of stone. He pulls up. Now these guys have a 4-minute head start running. He jumps the guardrail, runs into the woods. 8 minutes later, he comes dragging these two guys out.
Crazy.
We all got there. Now, the guy that was running originally, like I said, bigger guy, not a runner, he's still trying to catch his breath. He's like, he grabs the guy. He grabs him by his hair. He goes, you ran? Guy's like, I'm sorry. He goes, okay, I'm going to put you in the car. Puts him halfway in the car. Starts slamming the door on his ribs. I hear his ribs breaking. Slamming the door on his ribs. Throws him in the car. Gets the other guy. He goes, I only ran because he ran. just throw. He must have got tired of slamming the door. I guess his shoulder hurt or whatever. Puts him in the back of the car. I'm like, holy shit. I go, this place is nuts. But we had Jay Fairland. Jay said, you know, guy, and he was such a good motivator and such a good sergeant that we were probably I think it was my second year out there. We were the #1 squad in every category on the whole Turnpike.
What do they rank you guys from?
So the stats basically are arrests, contacts, summonses, warnings, accidents, fatal accidents. We were #1 in every category.
Do you want less accidents? I'm assuming.
You want less, but
Right.
it's just, listen, if you're a working squad, you don't shun work. And where some guys are like, it's not too bad. Why don't you just call your insurance companies?
Oh, really?
Yeah. But we loved our boss, and we worked.
Yeah.
We had the most arrests. We had the most arrests. We had the most summonses, most warnings, accidents, fatals. We didn't shun responsibility.
Yeah.
And, what that meant was, hey, congratulations. You guys are the best on the Turnpike. You don't get shit for it.
That's it.
But made him happy, and that was important.
How long were you were on the Turnpike for a while?
Nah, just 3 years.
Just 3 years, okay. And then you go from Turnpike to...
I went Turnpike back to Total.
Oh, that's you back.
Yeah.
Were you like, I'm back, guys?
Yeah, I'm back. Well, you know what happens? Like, people change.
People rotate, yeah.
And, I went back because Jay went to Total. See, guys started getting moved out because they didn't like, this is the odd thing about the state police. We were so close as a group, they didn't like it. They started breaking up squads, moving people around.
I guess you run the risk of collusion and people, it's getting friendly.
No, I don't even know what it is. It makes no sense.
No.
It
You
made
would,
no
you would
sense.
think you'd want a tighter knit squad.
Jay would have picnics. Jay would have barbecues at his house. I remember Scott as a little kid.
Was he crazy little kid?
Hey, he's just a little kid.
Yeah.
No, he's just a little kid. And then you had Jay and then their sister. And their mom was like all of our moms.
Oh, really?
She was salt of the earth, just like him. But before I move off the Turnpike, I just got to tell, this is one really good one with Jay. So he said to us, he goes, now Jay was a sniper in Vietnam.
Yeah.
How many kills he had, I don't know. Never really talked about it. But when he was sitting in the kitchen and there was a Vietnam movie on, the look on his face and the glaze in his eyes scared the fuck out of all of us because he was huge. And we were like, you know what? If he goes, we're all dead.
Yeah.
He's going to kill us all. If he sees straw hats on us, we're fucked. And so he goes, hey, you guys ever bring in Viet Cong and give you a day off? Okay. All right. We laughed about it, How are we going to know if somebody's Vietnamese? It's about 2 a.m. one night. Me and my partner are driving. I look. I called him Sid. I go, Sid. There's a guy doing jumping jacks in the right lane. Pull over. He goes, I'll call it in. He goes, get him out of the road. I go up. His car's not in the road. I'm like, sir. I go, come on, step out of the road. Fuck you. I go, okay. I go, sir, come on, get out of the road. Now, I'm looking back. My partner was this hot-headed Spanish guy. I'm looking back. He's like, I could see him starting to boil. He gets out of the car. I go, here's when I get out of the road, Sid. Fireman carries him, slams him on the hood of the car. Now, the guy had glasses on. His glasses fall off. His one lens fell out. He was an Asian guy. He goes, you broke my glasses. So
Joe loves that one.
I go, He didn't break your
No. Say how he said it.
I said, grasses.
No, really say it how he said it.
You broke my grasses. So he goes, I pick him up. I pop his lens back in. I go, here, your grasses are fine. I go, you're good to go. We try to give him like some balance test. No balance test. The guy just, he couldn't stand. He was so intoxicated. It was really bad. So we get him in the car and we go, just, hey, where are you from? He goes, Viet Cong. I go, holy shit, Sid, we're getting a day off.
Yeah.
I go, we got it. Walk him in. Jay, sitting with his feet up on the table, watching a Vietnam movie.
Is that what he did? He used to just watch the movies?
He got his work done. Now he was just relaxing. But I guess that's how he relaxed.
Insane.
So he flips around, he looks, and he starts screaming, zips in the wire, zips in the wire. I'm like, holy shit. I go, this isn't good. I go, okay. I go, Sarge, we're good. He goes, yeah, we're good. We're good, all right. He starts yelling. I'm like, oh my God. So now we're processing the guy, and I'm like, Sid, hurry the fuck up. Let's get this guy out of here.
Right.
So Fairlamb comes, stands in the doorway. Now he's standing in the doorway. He's a mountain of a man. He goes, hey, Zip, you know how many of your family members I killed? I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm sweating right now, like just thinking about it. I'm like, holy shit, we're all going to get fired. We're all done.
Yeah.
Well, we take them, we process them. Everything's okay. We get our day off.
Oh, he gave you the day off.
Of course he did. So we had internal investigations. Like if somebody put a complaint in,
Right.
it would be an internal investigation. So this guy comes up from headquarters, Turnpike headquarters, which was New Brunswick at the time. He was a lieutenant, comes up. He's sitting with me and this Tang guy who was my rep. And he goes, all right, guys. He goes, we got a complaint from Mr. Wu. He said that he was beat up by a muscle-bound gangster. He goes, who looks more like a muscle-bound gangster, you or Trooper Fernandez? So the guy that I'm sitting with looks at me. I go, I think he's denigrating Italians right now. He goes, I think so too. He goes, you know what, Lieutenant? Because this was Turnpike shit. This was what we did there.
Yeah.
This interview's over. We walk out. You don't walk out of an interview.
Yeah.
We did. We were like, we're dragons. We could do whatever the fuck we want. Fucking dragons. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's how your mentality was out there. You were like, I'm a fucking dragon. I can do what the fuck I want. Walk out. He's chasing mine. Get back. I am ordering you right now to get back in this room. Now, my lieutenant, I told you, door gunner, Vietnam, right? He didn't take shit from anybody. He goes, whoa, what's going on? Get in my office. We all go in his office. We go, hey, Lieutenant. He starts talking, denigrating Italians, saying muscle-bound gangster, all this other stupid stuff. We don't have to sit and listen to that. He goes, Lieutenant, is this true? He goes, well, Bill, it was on the form. I'm just reading off the form. He goes, I think you should leave my station.
Wow.
Froze him out of the station, right? Which didn't help our case at all because then we were called down there and it was like, oh my God. So, but the point of the story is the guy complained about that, never said a word about what Jay said to him. He must have been so
afraid.
Shit fucking scared that he didn't say a fucking word.
I would be too.
Dude, me too.
You were scared. Just
I mean, we had like football teams down there because we had 14-man squads. So we would literally play 11-on-11 football with no pads.
Yeah, just tackle people.
It was modified flag.
Right. Whatever
We
you
should
call
have just played tackle,
that.
right?
Would have been easier.
Well, Jay shows up. Jay goes, I'm playing tackle. I go, you bet you are, big guy. Right? He's got a number 75 Viking shirt on. Right? And he is going against, it's one of these. So he's going against Dwayne Kelly. Now, Dwayne Kelly was my classmate. Dwayne Kelly was 6'5", big black dude, but the nicest human being you ever met in your life.
Yeah.
Like, just a gift for the planet to have this guy on it. But he was in the military. He was a what the hell? I forget the unit that he was in. He got killed in Iraq while we were troopers. He had to go back.
Oh, wow.
And they were setting up a meeting with 5 different tribes, and they were trying to negotiate like a little peace thing. They had the room wired, and he got blown up, dead.
Holy shit.
But Jay and him, it was hilarious. Jay's move off the line, punch you right in the face.
That's a wild first move.
First move, punch you in the face. They'd be like, Sarge, can you stop punching me in the face?
That's crazy.
Well, we're playing football.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, man. He goes, hey. He would call everybody bro. Hey, bro, take a shot. He punching him in the face. He's spitting out blood going, now we're playing football. I'm like, whoo.
That guy had to have been a little...
I'm like, I'm glad I'm not a big guy. But when I tell you, he was the nicest man you ever met in your life.
Yeah.
But you knew you had him. Like, number one, he'd grab a rifle and shoot somebody probably from a mile away.
Yeah.
And, you just had him there. Between him and my lieutenant, I mean, oh my God. And they would,
A lot like Scott. Scott's like that too. Like just a good
Scott's
good
a
guy.
great guy,
Yeah.
but it's nice to have Scott
It's
there.
great to have Scott on your side. Yeah.
And
How long were you on? So now you go back to Totowa. Are you there?
I go to Totowa, and I'm there.
What year is it? You're mid-90s now?
So I went back to Totowa. It was 93.
Yeah.
Because it was 90. I went out to the Turnpike in 90. I left in 93. So 94, 93.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I stayed in Totowa for about 5 years. And then, I was probably in Totowa. No, I might have been in Totowa like much longer than
I think you were there for a very long time.
So I was in.
You were there. You were there when I was born.
I think I was there until. Because I went to nope. I know what happened. So. I was in Totowa for only four or 5 years. I went to Netcong Station.
Okay. Because you lived in Totowa for a little bit.
Well, that was after I got divorced.
Right. Oh yeah.
So, I went to Netcong Station probably in 97, 98. Because then I went in 99. 99, I went to the Parkway.
You went back? Oh no, you went to the Parkway now.
I went to the Parkway. Now, which is very odd. Usually, guys don't do two toll roads.
Yeah,
I did.
Why? You get sent back there?
I was special.
Oh, good.
No, I requested to go back there.
Why?
I was up in Netcong, which, again, bad decision. Netcong was the greatest station in the world, and I was working for the greatest guy. I worked for this guy, Bruce Yule. Died of cancer.
Jeez.
Bruce was just the gem of a human being. Mm-hmm. He sat me down, and my lieutenant there was this other guy. Just the nicest guys in the world. They're like, I went there. I was pissed that I went there because I got sent there, and I didn't want to go. I wanted to stay in Totowa, and I didn't do anything. Mm. So I remember 1 month, I wrote 3 summonses. The lieutenant calls me in his office. He goes, wow, what an improvement. I go, are you being serious, sir? He goes, yeah. You went from 0 to 3. He goes, not too shabby. I go, sir. He goes, let's forget all that. He goes, I see you with a landscaping truck. He goes, you do landscaping? I go, yeah. I go, I just trying to hustle up extra money. He goes, all right. He goes, listen, on day shifts, leave a little early so you get to your account, start working a little early. I'm like, he goes, that's for the big improvement that you had. I go, all right, boss. So the next month, I lit it up.
Yeah.
Because now, that would be a real asshole move if I was still being...
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Listen, I know what he was doing, and it worked.
It normally does.
And I was like... And I would see him when I'm leaving. He was a smoker. He'd be outside smoking a cigarette. He's like, all right, make sure those lines are straight, kid. I'm like, all right, boss. So that was cool. Went to Bloomfield. Bloomfield was short-lived. So in Bloomfield, the first night that we got the dash cameras, this was probably, I want to say 2001. No, it might have been before that. So it might have been like in 99. We got dash cams, right? We got these dash cameras. First night I got a dash camera in my car. Chase starts out of Newark, carjacking. They carjacked a mother and an 11-year-old little girl, threw him in the street. They shot at Newark cops while the Newark cops were pursuing them. They get up on the Parkway. We chase them from the Parkway up to 80, all the way across 80 to the Turnpike.
Yeah.
Down the Turnpike to exit 15, 280.
Okay.
15W.
Yeah.
So at 15W, the Turnpike guys are there now.
Yeah. You.
Well, no, I was a Parkway guy.
At this point. Oh, right.
But the Turnpike guys got involved. They crashed the van out.
That's so great.
Crashed the van out at the toll plaza. And now remember what I said, right? Dash cams. Everybody has dash cams. And imagine this. The cars are parked like this kind of. So you're getting camera views
everywhere.
Of everything
you got
going
every
on.
angle.
And I did what I was trained to do. I was trained that, you had a suspect, couldn't find the gun, guy had his hands underneath him like this, laying on his stomach. I'm stomping him and kicking him because I want his arm to come out.
Right.
So, and I had my gun on him to see if he had the gun underneath him.
You had your gun on him?
I had my gun on him. Right? Think about it. Yeah. So I have my gun out. And what do I have left to use? I have my feet.
Yeah.
So I'm stomping on him.
He doesn't care that you have your gun pointed at him?
He doesn't know. He's face down. And we're telling him, show your hands, show your hands, show your hands. So there's that. And then there was the other guy. It was like hard to get a handcuff on him. And, so I aided with the handcuffing of him.
Yeah.
And this was on video. So it turns into a 2-year-long, the colonel at the time wanted me prosecuted for civil rights violations. And he wanted me put in federal prison.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was 2 years of stress, thinking I was going to federal prison. And
for what though? What were they?
Civil rights violation. I violated their rights because they were black guys.
Right.
And honestly, I think you know me. I don't care what your color is. Like whatever color you were, if you were shooting at cops and carjacking a woman and little kids.
Yeah. What the fuck?
I don't care what you are.
Right.
I'm going to do the same thing to you that I'm going to do to anybody.
Sure.
And so, Chris Christie was the U.S. attorney at the time. That's why I have a little bit of a soft spot for Chris Christie. I really do, because sent the tape to the U.S. attorney, who could have said, we will indict, and then I would have been going to fucking federal
You would have
prison.
had some crazier stories.
Right.
On the podcast.
Oh, yeah, I would have been my federal prison stories.
Right.
Thank God they didn't happen. And so Chris Christie viewed the tape with his advisors, and he sends it back to the colonel going, we do not see any violations here. This trooper was acting within the parameters of the way he was trained, which my union showed them the way we were trained. We were trained to use our hands and feet.
Right.
And he just kept pushing it. He sends it back to the U.S. attorney going, I guess I'll put a memo out saying that the U.S. attorney said it's okay to kick people in the head. Christie, you know Christie. Christie sends it back to him. Colonel, I don't care what you do. If you put out that the U.S. attorney said that, you're going to be in violation and you will be getting sued. That's not what I'm saying. I didn't even see anyone get kicked in the head.
Right.
He goes, I don't know what you're saying. This trooper did not do anything wrong. Becomes a 2-year thing. They're dragging it out. I remember finally I get one day off for failure to de-escalate. But the funnier thing, when the Attorney General's office in New Jersey viewed it, so they're watching the whole tape, right? So the Attorney General's going, what about that guy? Oh, no. There were no charges put against that guy.
What was he doing?
Same thing as me.
Oh.
He was like, well, what about that guy? Whoa, what about that guy? I just slammed that guy down on the car. He goes, yeah, there were no charges put. So the Attorney General goes, or the guy from the Attorney General's office, he was a really good guy. He goes, so let me get this straight. He goes, just Trooper DeBenedictis was the only one that was brought up on anything when...
They're all doing the same shit.
He goes, I find that very interesting. He goes, we don't find anything because everything that was done was within the Attorney General's guidelines and actually the state police guidelines. So I was cleared after 2 years, but this was on the heels of my divorce.
Oh.
So it literally went like 2 years and then...
Tough stretch for you.
Yeah, it was a rough stretch. That was a rough stretch. And then, fast forward, because, everything else, 9/11, right? 9/11 happened. So 9/11, I got stationed at Caven Point military base, which is right over here. It's in Jersey City.
Caven Point.
Yeah, Caven Point military base. I don't know if it's still there, but it was right. It was literally like right near It's like right near Liberty State Park.
Okay.
So I was stationed there after 9/11, and we were basically doing like, I had death certificates that I had to do, which was horrific. Oh. They had like a little mock museum, like the little kids sending letters to their moms and dad. Dude. And that was, and I know you don't remember this, but my whole divorce started the day before 9/11.
I did not know that.
It was when we had our like...
Big final.
Yeah. And so it was like...
That's insane.
Yeah, it was really like just quite a time.
And this is what, like 20, almost 20 years now? You're or 15 years in the academy? Or in the force? So
by this time, well, think about it, 88 to 2000, right? I had a little over 10 years.
13 years, yeah.
12, 13 years.
Yeah.
And, and again, that was horrific time. But that was when, through all that, I'm not gonna like really get into it too much. But that's when, God really, because I was in the darkest place that I've ever been. And that was when, God did his thing and pulled me out and opened my eyes, which I went back and forth. And then, finally I just knew it wasn't going to be good for me unless I totally just went where I belonged.
Yeah. Surrendered to.
Yeah.
So 13 years in, what is what's the roughest area that you had to work at so far?
So, well, I mean, when you think about Totowa's area, right?
The neighboring areas aren't great.
Neighbors areas,
and then there's a bunch of wannabes in Totowa that think.
And then when I was at Totowa my first time there, that was when I first got shot at.
Oh, really?
So the Alabama projects.
Yeah.
Okay. So we
Yeah, that's right by
Yeah, it's like the beginning of the S turns.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're like it's kind of like on both sides.
Why do they call it that? Is that what it's named?
The Alabama
Yeah,
Project.
it's like the name.
It's
of
the
it.
Alabama Project. Yeah. And so I'm there, and there is the old Vista Cruiser. Remember the old station wagons with wood panels?
Yeah.
Well, one of those, and there's about 25 Mexican guys in it, painters, right? And they're bombed. The car is literally going 20 like this. I'm like, oh shit. I go, wow, they're gonna hit somebody. And I'm looking, I see the projects, and I'm like, oh man, let me try to get. And they're like, just people are beeping, and because they're like almost hitting cars.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, I gotta stop them. I stop and pull them over. I get the driver out, bring him to the front of the car. They all start getting out of the car. I'm like, get the fuck back in the car. They're like, no habla. They're laughing. They're drunk.
Yeah.
They're like, they weren't coming to attack me. I didn't feel that. I just felt like they were like, fuck it. I'm
like wrangling monkeys.
Like, yeah, we want to just get out of the car and walk around like I'm like, get the fuck back in the car. So I start getting them back in the car. Now I'm laughing because they're like just bombed, right? Like they weren't going to run on me or anything like that. And I'm kind of like, holy shit, fuck, I'm shoving them like through the back glass. I'm like, get the fuck in the car. And so I got the driver in front, and at a corner of my eye, I see it first. I saw two flashes, and then I heard crack, crack. And I'm like, fuck. Throw him down on the ground, pull my gun out, and I'm looking, and, the question that people always ask, what, did you shoot back?
At what?
How am I going to shoot? No, they were there.
Oh, you saw him?
They were there. I saw them. Could have shot back, but what about all the houses and shit behind?
Who was
it? It was just two black guys.
Oh, just random dudes that were.
So they hung their, basically put their arm out of the car, crack, and just started driving away. Am I going to shoot into a neighborhood?
Yeah.
Then I kill like a 8-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Can't shoot back, so okay, but I didn't see any bullets, but. And funny, the guy down there goes, he's laughing. he was laughing about it. Yeah. Like, I guess, I don't know, maybe it's a normal occurrence where he was from.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You no backup?
No. And then guys came and, we tried to, but they shot at me. The one thing I did see, I saw it was a revolver, so there were going to be no shell casings on the ground, no nothing. But, so that was like... That was the Totowa days, the Turnpike days, back to Totowa. That's where do you want me to tell the gremlin story?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You have to.
So while we're being chronological about things,
right.
I don't want to
we can't miss that.
I know I'm bouncing back and forth a little. So I'm out, I'm working, and my lieutenant at the time, another Vietnam vet, great guy. One of my favorites next to Jay. Calls me in his office and he goes, hey, Stevie, He goes, me and Martin, we were driving and we saw you on a stop. I go, now I had the rapport with him where I was like, oh, you didn't stop to back me up? He goes, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
He goes, you were fine. He goes, you didn't have your, I go, hey, Lieutenant. I go, I'm Black Dragon. We don't wear hats. He goes, well, you're in fucking total. You're going to put your fucking hat on. I go, you know what, boss? For you, my hat's going on tomorrow. Shined up my hat badge, got all the dust off it. And I'm such a numbskull that driving, car blows by me like 85, 90 miles an hour. I pace him, pull him over, get out of the car. And thank God we're on camera and it's not just video. I can illustrate how stupid I am.
Yeah.
Stop the car, grab my hat, put my hat on my head. I get out of the car. In case you missed it, I forgot to put the car in park, but that comes later. But I got out of the car and the car didn't move. Usually if you don't put the car will roll.
You'll notice something.
It must have been caught on like a lip or something. Walk in front of the car, go around to the side, and go up to the driver, and I'm talking to him, and I remember flipping around so I could see traffic now, and I'm saying, hey, I go, well, yeah, I go, you know what, sir, you seem like a nice guy. If everything's okay, I'm going to run your license, see if you're okay. I see my car start to pull out the traffic, and I'm like, oh, fuck. So now the right lane stops, right center lane stops, and there's a truck coming. And I'm waving to the truck. Come on. I'm telling him to go. He's hitting his air horn. I'm like, come on, go. They had bumpers on the cars. We had the old style car that had a bumper. The bumper gets hooked by the back tire of the truck and gets sucked up under the truck and grinded up. And then literally, like, because the truck driver pulled over, the car gets spit out into the guardrail. I'm like, holy shit.
Would it look like a soda can at this point?
It looked like a soda can. It looked like a soda can that got stomped on for hours. And I go to grab the radio to call. The whole wire comes off. You know, I'm trying to yank it back into park. I'm like doing everything. So my boss at the time, super nice, really nice guy, but very, very stoic, very serious guy. He comes out, and he's a shorter guy. He's probably about 5'8", and he was with our senior man. That's our senior guy on the squad, and he was probably like 6'4". So he's behind him, and he goes, "Hey, Steve, you okay?" I'm like, "Yes, sir, I'm good." He goes, "What the fuck happened?" I go, "Sir, you're never going to believe this." I go, I was on the stop. I flip around to look, and I go, I see a little green gremlin run out of the woods, jump into my car, drove my car into traffic. After it crashed, that little fucker jumped out and ran back into the woods. He goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah, green, little green gremlin. Jump fucking." He goes, "Go to fuck." Herbie, the guy's name was Herbie. I goes, "Herbie, take him the fuck inside. Let him do his special." We get in the car. This guy's driving. He turns to me and goes, "You don't got a hair on your ass. There's no fucking way you're going to put that down on paper." I go, "Oh, yeah?" I go, "Watch this." We go back. Little green gremlin, blah, blah, blah. I print it. I go into my lieutenant's office. He goes, "Hey, what the fuck?" He goes, "You okay?" I go, "I'm fine, sir." I go, "Here, read this." He's reading it. He's looking at me. Reading it, looking at me. He goes, "Are you fucked up or something? What's the matter with you?" I go, "No." I go, No. I go, "This is your fault." He goes, he sits back in his chair. He goes, wow. He goes, okay, let me hear. I go, oh, yeah? What'd you tell me the other day? About the hat? The hat? Oh, yeah, I stopped my car. I put my fucking hat on. I forgot to put the fucking car in park. He goes, oh. He goes, you're a fucking idiot then. He goes, I understand. He goes, you're just dumb. You forgot to put the car in park. I go, yeah. I go, what? You've never done it? He goes, no, I've done it. He goes, but I go, yeah. I go, the car didn't move. He goes, now he sits back. He goes, car didn't move? He goes, how the fuck? I go, boss, I walked around the front of the car. I was at the car probably like 2 minutes, and then my car starts rolling. He goes, that's weird. He goes, go upstairs, Mike the mechanic, have him look up how many times a Chevy Caprice comes out of park and goes in the drive. Well, it was like 2 in 25 million. Yeah. Right? And he goes, I go, yeah. I go, it's 2 in 25 million. He goes, yeah. He goes, all right. He goes, let's go for it.
Yeah.
We put the whole report together.
25 million.
we put the whole report together. We bring it up to our captain at the time, and he was like, "Get the fuck out of here." Yeah. He's getting charged with a fucking troop car accident, which wasn't a big deal, you know. But so that's all that, and I don't know. Like as far as Totowa, like I said, you know, my times at Totowa. And my times on the Turnpike, just the whole, you know, building of the footing of working with really great people and doing some really great shit. Yeah. You know, kind of made it like, you know, and having that fraternity, you know. And you see, like I said, you see a lot of like really like bizarre stuff, like suicides and attempted suicides and people that try to, like, there was a girl that got into an accident, drove to the top of the Turnpike elevator bridge, jumps off the bridge. Wait, she jumps off the bridge where the swamp is. She landed in the swamp. She didn't even twist her ankle. It was like a sponge. She jumped off. It was probably 150 feet.
Stop.
Yeah. Imagine that. You want to kill yourself. You jump, and all of a sudden, you jump into a big sponge. Dude, she was up to here in muck.
Could she get out? She was probably stuck.
Guys had to go in and get her. Yeah, she was stuck. When they pulled her out, like popped. Yeah.
It's
nuts.
She was probably like, oh, my God.
Oh, my God. But, you know, I'm sure it changed her life.
I would hope at this point.
Well, listen, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
That's very
nobody wants to do that.
No, no one does. When do you get stationed in Irvington?
So, 2000 and let me make sure I get this right. 2004, 2005.
Okay, so right around this time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason you guys were stationed was under martial law? Like, is that because it was so...
It wasn't martial law. The way it started, it was like... And when I first got there, they had 5 guys working there. It was nuts.
So they just couldn't police themselves?
They couldn't...
They had 5 guys working in Irvington?
They had 5 troopers there at first.
But where's Irvington's own police?
Irvington's police was just totally... It was...
Incapable of handling what?
It was just too much because you got to understand something. So Irvington was like Livingston. It was a very affluent, wealthy town.
Oh, really?
And then it literally just went down and down and down. I worked with people that went to Irvington High School in the 80s, and they were like, yeah, it was great.
Look, wasn't Irvington one of the worst cities in the country at this point?
It was. Well, you're not going to find it. You know why?
Why?
New Jersey would have had the 2 worst cities in the country, and they classified Irvington as a township.
Wow.
It was not a city, because New Jersey didn't want the stigma having Camden, which was one of the worst cities in the country, and Irvington, one of the worst cities in the country. So when I went there, they were averaging probably around a homicide a week. So somebody was getting shot and killed. But shootings, they were averaging about close to 275, 300 a year in shootings. Irvington, just so you know, I think Irvington's like 1.5 miles by 1.5 miles.
Oh my God.
So process that.
That's like this town, Hoboken.
Yeah.
That is it. Look up how like to compare it to like a Chicago. How many shooters does Chicago have a year?
Forget it.
They're just so much bigger.
They're bigger, and I don't know. If you look it up, I don't know what it'll come
I'm
back.
just curious.
But the numbers were astronomical. So they put the anti-crime, Essex Anti-Crime Initiative together. So what happened was the state police was running it, but we had Sheriff's Department, Prosecutor's Office, we had Secret Service. Funny little sidebar. You know the guy that in the Trump video when he gets shot, the guy standing right behind him?
Yeah.
The guy that just got appointed as director of the Secret Service, he worked with us down there.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was he?
Oh, he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was awesome. So he was there from
Big guy.
Yes. He was there from the Secret Service because we had a lot of counterfeiting that was going on down there. So he would process all that. We had ATF. We had, I don't remember doing much with the FBI, but the FBI really, there was nothing for them there.
What were they really? What did it come up as?
I think 2024 first 9 months was 439 fatal shootings.
Oh my! In Chicago?
But 1,800 non-fatal. Or like
Shootings.
1,800. Oh my God.
2013 it was something like 13,000 non-fatal shootings.
In Chicago? Yeah. How big is Chicago though? I guess I got to multiply the.
Chicago big.
Yeah.
Chicago's big.
So it's not even a comparison. Yeah.
No.
But that's crazy.
And it's all building over there,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have, but we had Camden too, because there was the same initiative was going on in Camden. That was like our sister station, you would call it, and that was a combat zone too. It was nuts.
So you were stationed in.
I was in Irvington, and when I got to Irvington, like I said, I got there was like, I don't know, there was like 5 of us, but then it went from 5 to probably 40.
When it was at 5, how did you feel? Were you like, we are understaffed?
Oh yeah.
You guys knew immediately.
Yeah, like think about it. You had 2 cars going out.
Oh my God.
We had 2 cars going out, and it was like all you did, you got in your car, you were chasing cars.
Were you well received by the Irvington community?
Yes, but they had to keep it under wraps. So it was, I remember like the first time that so when we had like our full squad, and these were like handpicked guys, we literally had like, besides me, I don't put myself even in the category of these other guys that were there. I was there for a reason. The reason I was there was kind of to be like the liaison from the administration to the road guy.
That makes sense.
So, but these other guys that came, oh my God, we had guys like full-blown superstars. Like the guys that were there that some have retired, some are still active, but they're like, they're like high-ranking state police now.
I guess
majors, captains, well-deserved.
Yeah.
Because these guys worked harder than I ever saw guys work in my life.
Now, like, is there a pay incentive for these guys to go to Irvington,
No.
or there's no choice?
No. You were just, well, that was my buddy who got me into the state police. As soon as he took over the command, he called me up and he goes, "Hey, you're going to Irvington." I go, "I don't want to go to Irvington."
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, okay." He goes, "It's coming out. We're going to see you next week. Welcome." I was like, man, I had 17 years on the job. I was 38, 39 years old. I don't want to go to Irvington. What the fuck do I want to go to Irvington for?
Yeah.
But it ended up being, just an unbelievable experience in a lot of ways. But like, just really like just to see what could happen to a city. Because like when I went there, my dad was still alive when I went there, and he was like, Steve, Irvington used to be like, that's where the rich people lived.
That is insane.
But it's not, because when you went, like when we would go, and so we were like every day, like I'm not even kidding you, every day, guns, drugs, we had a homicide unit, we had a fugitive unit, we had all these different units within that station, and everybody was busy. Like the Irvington Police Department, like it was us. It was us in there processing like 15, 20 people a day. Wow. Just locking people up every day. And I mean, the other guys, like all the detectives that worked there, I mean, like everybody was just a worker, and, everybody pretty much got taken care of because of their time down there.
Okay, that makes sense.
But like there were times when we were doing like massive raids that, we would like kind of partner up with the Camden guys, or like vice versa.
Really?
We would go down there. Camden's shithole. That place.
Worse than
and
Irvington.
It's bigger. It's probably like 3 times the size. Oh my God.
Yeah. Were the people worse than Camden?
No, it was just
Same
all
stuff.
it was all the same people, Blood and Crips.
Yeah.
But predominantly Bloods. There was like, it was funny because like we had like one family of like Crips, and the lady was shit crazy.
Really?
Like we would go there and she was just nuts. We were like, lady. And then there was like, it was weird. There was this one kid down there, and I know I'm like, my brain's going like my ADD, but
That's good.
there was this kid down there, because I'm just like thinking of shit right now while we're talking. And there was this kid down there they called White Boy. White Boy was a white boy. White Boy lived down there. He lived down there. Nobody bothered him. He was just, this kid was so, I guess, just feared because I think he was living there, and he like did something with a shotgun, and just imagine being the only white guy living down there with Bloods and Crips, and you're left alone.
Yeah.
You got to be a full-blown badass, So
Is that him?
no. But like,
Did you guys deal with him a lot?
No,
He's never.
not. We dealt with, probably, I would say the majority was like Bloods. But like then I ran the fugitive unit down there. I ran the fugitive unit probably for 6 months, and so while I was running the fugitive unit, that was plain clothes. It wasn't undercover. It was plain clothes. But our job was we would get lists of people that were wanted,
Yeah.
and it was like stacked this high. And it was everything from drug offense, homicide, stuff like that. And we would go, and I worked with guys that were older. So I was 39. The guys that I worked with, like 3 or 4 of them were like in their 50s. One guy was in his 60s. One guy was younger. And, their thing was, these guys were all guys that like worked this kind of work before. Mm-hmm. And they would be like, hey, boss, we got to start at 3 a.m. We got to get these people before they take their first piss. And I'm like, okay. So we would literally go out, and just to give you an idea of like what we did, we went to this apartment complex one time. It was a 3-story walk up, and we go in and they're looking. They go, ooh, there's a fire escape. I'm like, all right. I go, what are you guys thinking? They're like, yeah, let's just go upstairs. We knock on the door next door. It's like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. These two young girls come to the door. They spoke Spanish. We didn't speak Spanish. Nobody spoke Spanish. We told them just move out of the way. So I'm like, whoa. I go, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I go, what are you guys thinking? I go, I don't know if you guys know this. They were all older than me. They go, oh, yeah, that's right. You're the boss. So, okay, boss, what do you want to do? I go, well, what the fuck do you guys want to do?
Yeah.
Well, we need the littlest guy here to go out on the fire escape through the window and unlock the door. Because there were two guys in there. There were two brothers that we had to get. And I'm looking around, and they were all big guys. And I'm like, so you guys want me to go through the door, go through the window? They're like, yeah. You think you could do that? I'm like, well, I fucking guess so. I go out on the fire escape. The window was open. I slide it up. It's the kitchen sink, right? I had to take dishes out of the kitchen sink without making noise, move them aside, because now I had to climb in that window.
Right.
Climb in the fucking window, right? Now it's like, I can't see. It's fucking dark. Go over. I open the door. These fucking mooses come fucking running through the door, just ripping fucking every... And little did they know, there was like 10 fucking dudes in there.
Oh, shit.
Right? Ripping people out of bed. Like fucking little Spanish guys were flying everywhere. They finally find the two guys. We go. But like, this shit happened all the time. Oh,
So no guns even drawn.
no.
That's good.
Steve, you gotta go. I'm there. Why? You're the smallest. I'm like, fucking assholes,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
And so that was a lot of fun. And those guys that I worked with there, I mean, you talk about like courageous, like brave guys. These guys were excellent. They were excellent cops. Like so bad. Like we were at the end of our shift one time. So we would start at 3. We would be done by like 11, 12.
Oh, really?
Oh,
And the next shift will come in.
We'd be done. No, we were it.
Oh.
Our thing was we would want to execute 2 warrants a day. So we would execute 2 warrants a day, and then like that was our thing. But we had probably triple the amount of bodies that they had with the other guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Right,
the other
right.
guy that was
But now what
down.
happens at 12 o'clock?
Go home.
And what happens to the Irvington community?
Oh, no. The other guys were still working,
Okay.
like the guys that were there on the road and everything else.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we weren't there at night.
Yeah.
We didn't have like 2 shifts. We didn't have enough guys.
Yeah, right.
And then there's that picture. That's from
a great
Irvington.
picture.
Well, so that was one day.
How old were you in this?
Huh?
How old are you?
39, 40. So wait, we're doing a prostitute detail. So it was me and those other guys had to just dress like guys looking for prostitutes.
You look like a guy that's looking for a prostitute.
Right?
Yeah.
So wait, they give me a 70 Nova, like an old beat up car. I got the cigar in my mouth. I got the watch cap. I got the P coat on. I go like this to the other guys. I go, I'm going to have a girl faster than every one of you guys, probably faster than anybody's ever had. 3 minutes.
No.
I pulled down. I knew right where we knew right where they were. So they hung around PSE and G's down there. So I guess like some of the guys from PSE and G, like they were good customers. This girl, she had 3 teeth in her mouth. I pull up. I go, hey baby. I go, what's going on? She goes, oh, nothing, honey. I go, how much? She goes, what you want? I go, you know what I want. She goes, it's $20. I go, I only have 5. She goes, I ain't doing that for $5. I go, yeah. I go, come on, $5. She goes, all right, don't you go telling anybody though. I picked up my radio. I go, okay, we're ready to go.
No.
Yeah. She was like, you motherfucker. So we had like we had to have like 15, 20 girls in the cell.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I walk in, and I'm processing her. She starts talking shit. She goes, "You little Joe Pesci-looking motherfucker. You telling me?" I go, so I turn to her, and I go, "Hey," I go, "you better be quiet, or I'm going to tell them that you were going to do me for $5. They started killing her. "You dirty bitch. You're going to go down to $5. Then we all going to have to start doing guys for $5. I'm like, "You shouldn't have opened your mouth.
That's so crazy.
Little Joe Pesci motherfucker." Oh my God, man.
That's
it was,
great.
but just like here, I'm pulling out some pictures of, when I was down there. So like we were down there, and it was a whole we had the military looking uniform,
Yeah.
the tack vests, and everybody had everybody had extra guns on them. We had we had the rifles and everything else, and it was just it was
Wow.
it was
Clella.
huh?
Clella?
Kalala. Yeah, it was just like an experience that you can't even
Was this the gremlin?
No, that wasn't me. That was another guy. Another guy had a chase, and that ended up happening.
This is wild.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, here they are. This kind of gives you a overview of what this area. I mean, they had Jersey barriers blocking streets down there.
Really?
There were streets blocked off. Yeah, because there were so many car chases down there that they would block certain streets from having cars going down.
Right.
And then just the amount of burnt out buildings and
Now, how much cleaner did Irvington get from you guys being there? Was it a success?
no.
Not even a little bit. Did they kick it up a notch because you guys were there?
No. Because I'll tell you what. The other thing was we took certain things very personal. For an example, so we were hanging out one day. We're outside. We're about to go, and this little kid, cutest little kid, comes walking. I go, "Hey man, what do you got in the bag?" He goes, "I got milk." I go, "Nice." I go, "You don't drink that soda, right? That's not good for you." He goes, "No, sir." He goes, "I'm going to be like you. I'm going to be a state trooper." I go, "All right." And then he points. I go, "Oh." I go, "Don't point. Don't point at nothing." I go, "Well, just tell me what's the matter." He goes, "I live right behind where you guys are. And on that street, that guy right there, he deals drugs." I go, "Is that right?" He goes, "Yeah, and he's right in front of my house dealing drugs." I go, "Okay." I go, "What's your name?" He goes, "Jamal." I go, "Okay, Jamal. Keep an eye out your window today, and you're going to see something." He goes, "Okay." I go, "You're going to see why you want to become a trooper." I went upstairs, and I'm like, "Hey, all hands on deck." I just had a kid telling me, right behind us, there's some fucker. So, the narco guys, everybody, we had a guy down there buying drugs from this guy. We came in with full force.
Yeah.
And just we just snatched this guy from the earth. And that made me feel good.
Yeah.
There were other times when there's those too. There were other times when we were down there and we would be hitting a house and we'd be locking up everybody in the house. And you'd see a guy raking his lawn going like this. Well, he would just look up at you a little and he would just be nodding his head because they couldn't say anything.
Right.
Because if they did, they would go fuck with them.
Right, of course.
So it was horrible.
But you knew that there were people there that appreciated you guys being there. Yeah. This is crazy.
Yeah. But that's what it was like. And I had my partner, so I was on the street crimes unit too for a while. And my partner that I was with on that, he used to do something that used to make me howl. We'd be riding around, and he would turn. I would see they had an ordinance down there. You weren't allowed to walk in the street. So if people were walking in the street, he'd be driving, and I would see him turn and start looking at me. And he'd be like, yeah. And I'm like, Dave. I'm like, bro. Hey. Boom. Oh, I didn't see. Whoa, man, what the fuck? Oh, I didn't see you guys there. You okay? You know you're not supposed to be walking in the street. But you know why they walked in the street?
No.
They walked on the sidewalk. Some places were so infested with rats, the rats would hide in the grass and bite at your fucking heels.
Oh my God.
It was, bro. It was hell on earth.
Yeah.
It really was.
And
I don't know if it's gotten nicer. I mean, look, I haven't been there. I left there, I think, in 2007, like right after my dad died. But, you know, I know they had a high-rise apartment there. I know, you know, when I drive on the Parkway, you see, like, it just looks the same.
Yeah, the only thing I know about is the White Castle. Right? Isn't there a White Castle in Irvington?
I don't know if there is.
Yeah, I think there is. It's like one of the only ones around here.
I know that they had the cricket club there.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I'm a White Castle frequenter.
Yeah.
I can bring you to 3 in 15 minutes.
Where?
There's one literally by my house in Jersey City.
There's one in Jersey City?
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy. We don't have to go there. I got sick last time.
How about this? Where I live, the White Castle shut down.
Why? Nobody eats it anymore.
Because I lived there. I lived down by Pineys that
Yeah,
don't understand the value of a White Castle burger.
You sound like my dad. I can't stand a White Castle burger.
Oh my God.
Nah, man, don't tell me that. It's a burger this thin, and you're eating onions.
What do you get? Fish?
No,
The fish is crap, so I don't know what
He probably gets the fish.
Yeah.
You like the fish?
my mom
Wow.
put me up on those.
My God, bro.
The fish is crap.
Your immune system must be
Oh, it's crazy. That's what I'm saying.
off the charts.
I've never felt good after eating White Castle.
How could you?
That's what I point. Why do you guys eat it? My dad loves a case. What is it called? A suitcase? A case?
Because it's
Crave case?
Because it's after a night of debauchery where you really don't care what you're putting into your body. You just want it to soak up a little booze.
Yeah.
And
You want to top off the night with a nice case of
disgusting.
onion burgers.
And as you get older, you feel like just for days. Days.
Yeah. I'm so
Horrific.
I'm so off that. Never been a fan of fast food, and that one's not doing it. Like Wendy's. I love Wendy's. That's different.
That's your thing.
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, it's the healthiest.
Is it?
The healthiest
Wendy's
burger,
is?
yeah.
You know why they have square burgers?
Why?
It's because they don't cut corners. That's their like motto.
So does White Castle, buddy.
No,
White
they-
Castle had square
Yeah,
burgers too.
Maybe that's why. Yeah.
And buns. Wendy's doesn't have square buns.
That's true. Maybe we should we get some White Castle after this? No. You're in Jersey City, we gotta bring you somewhere nice. Well, anyway, this has been phenomenal. This is I can listen to your stories.
I hope I just shined a little light on
On the reality of.
And the trooper, listen, State Police is looking for people. You know, you two, young, fit, handsome guys.
But they got to be looking for people because there's no way anybody wants to be a cop anymore.
Yeah, but they're, you know, dude, look at this fucking tradition, man. Look at that square chin, 21-year-old guy, and that's Dwayne Kelly. See the guy?
Who's
in
Dwayne
the
Kelly?
blue?
Oh my God, how big was he?
Yeah, he's huge,
Let me see.
huge. He got fucking killed, man. Horrible.
Holy shit.
Horrible. He pulled off a suede leisure suit, though.
That's a beautiful suit.
You bet your ass he did.
And who's got next to him?
Brooklyn.
Also, great outfit.
Oh, fantastic. That was Brooks' 40th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. These fucking guys are awesome.
That's awesome. Well, listen, I had fun today. Maybe we'll have you back on. We'll just talk about nonsense.
I would love, I got to tell you, like when you said there was a topic, I was like, okay, stay on topic, stay. And I think
We could talk about anything.
But
though.
wait, didn't I do pretty good?
You did great.
I stayed on topic.
We could easily
which is
derail.
So listen, for me,
I know.
you know me, I could have derailed a million times, and I just kept pulling myself back.
Well, that's what makes you a master storyteller.
Yeah, I just, you know.
You know what I want to talk about next? I want to talk about the Jersey Shore back when you used to go there, because it is a little bit different, and I want to hear about the iconic bars that aren't really there anymore. Since that'd be a whole separate pot. We could talk about that next.
Well, we could do a Joey Harrison's
Yes, exactly.
Surf Club podcast.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Because that in itself is a whole podcast.
Do you know any of the guys from back then?
Like who?
Like any of the guys that used to run the bars and?
Well, not the sidebar, but you kind of sidebarred me. I was thrown out of the surf club twice for life.
Twice for life? Yeah, the first one didn't last too long.
First one didn't stick. I was thrown out by Joey Barcelona himself.
No way.
The owner.
Wow. We have to contact Joey.
No. I don't, if he's still around. He was a boxer. He was like a badass. This guy standing there, all tan. He looked like an actor.
I'm sure.
Big, tall, skinny guy. Is that the fucking guy? Get him the fuck out of here. You're out of here for life. I'm turning around to my friends going, holy shit, Joey's throwing me out of here.
He remembers her like this.
2 Dobermans he had with him. Yeah.
Outside the bar?
Those bound... let's see.
Let's cliffhanger it. Cliffhanger it. That's it for today,
That's
guys.
it for
Like, subscribe, share. Peace.